Oystron by Xype, I guess. It's epics backward. Xype, 1997. I think this is the oldest so-called homebrew that I play regularly. It's my preferred type of 2D shoot-'em-up, excluding the unforced scrolling kind. Not only do you get to obliterate many things, but there's a supplementary action to be performed that gives the obliterations a purpose, and keeps the battle from getting repetitive. In this case, you collect things that are left by other things when you shoot those other things. Other things can steal your collected things, but you can shoot those other things and collect your collected things again. This is Piero Cavina's first game, and he initially made it available as a free download that could be run in emulation or on a console via the StarPath Supercharger. A cartridge version was later released. It's a seamlessly flowing and impeccably programmed struggle between man and oyster. So let's get crackin'. Your spaceship, one of 4 with another on the way per every 4,000 points, can fly all over most of the screen in any direction, but it continues facing to the left or right during vertical movement. It's obstructed by an invisible boundary about 2/3 of the way to the right. The space oysters and other unsafe things soar in from that direction. Finishing off an extraterrestrial mollusk yields a pearl, which is acquired on contact and deposited in the pearl zone to the left with a button push. The button is also a firing one, so jabbing it within the zone, which is demarcated with that column of dots, simultaneously drops the pearl and fires one of your high-speed 2-at-a-time projectiles. If you've pilfered more than one pearl since your last delivery, you can effect rapid dropping to go with your rapid blasting. Pearls cannot be stacked on top of each other, naturally, but you can jettison them contiguously by holding the button down while you're moving. If you line up a full row of 8, you'll take them all on board, where they'll be fashioned into a single space mine. That's what I call it anyway, as it's later ejected in the path of the scary chord, Oystron. The button's dual purpose in the zone typifies this game's virtuosic balance. When you're carrying a pearl and you're far from a nearly completed row, you're obliged to quickly decide between shooting and dodging a looming obstacle. Keeping your itchy firing thumb in check allows you to hang on to the pearl until you can drop it exactly where you want to. The things that look like asteroids, or stale hunks of blue cheese, are the space oysters. The pearls that they leave behind are small squares that move to the left, much more slowly than anything else, until they rebound from the border. Even in heavy combat, do your best to swoop across any pieces of pinkness that you see floating around, lest they elude you and exit to the right. The progressively more deviously zigzagging enemy groups will reclaim the mementos of their dead oyster buddies if they get past you. After reaching the left end of a pearl-occupied row, the offending faction will wobble for a few seconds and emanate a harmless strip of screen-crossing colors, making it very clear that they're thinning out your collection and don't see a thing that you can do about it. They would probably look very surprised to be shot during the return trip, if only they had the chance. A pearl that you've liberated a second time can be recaptured before it drifts out of range. Any pearl that does so will be converted, through some evil alien process, into a wooden log. I'm not sure why they went with that, exactly. It's certainly sturdy wood, as your shots only repel it, so that might have something to do with it. It might even be petrified. You can shoot a log all the way back to the right if you want to bother. But what's humorous is that out of all these distinctly durable-looking things, the wood turns out to be the obstacle that you can't blow up. You'll face other attackers besides the thieving kind. Those that are reminiscent of gigantic bottle rockets destroy all the pearls in a row that they've been permitted to overshoot. The aliens that bear strong likenesses to inflatable pickaxes can only be purged from one side, and it's usually not the one facing your ship. I enjoy the ancillary goal of hoarding pearls, but I've never needed more than one space mine to defeat the guy who's ostensibly been throwing all this lumber and marine life at me, the Oystron himself, who arrives between waves amid the other hazards. One envisions a huge menacing beast who cunningly encumbers advancement, but he actually resembles a small bluish-gray alien who's getting on in years. As his eyesight has deteriorated, the Oystron will fly right into a space mine without attempting to sidestep it, unless I just haven't made enough progress to see him with his glasses on. The foremost challenge during this brief wave-ending phase is in being ready for it. When the playfield begins to flash, and you hear a loud noise that brings to mind a student-driven car with a manual transmission, fly to a safe-looking row and scour the right half of the screen for an elderly pinwheel with antennae. Zoom into his path, push the button, and beat a hasty retreat. He'll explode, and if the sound is anything to go by, the microwave in your ship's cabin will be set off by the energy release. You'll promptly engage in a lengthy warp toward the next enemy wave, or perhaps the next highly polluted tidal wave. The commotion doesn't stop until you get there, and everything but your ship speeds up, so this is the toughest part of the game. You still have firepower, but the flickering is awfully distracting. Whereas each oyster's random endurance is a normally pleasing element, firing at one from a short distance is consequently risky to begin with, let alone when it's moving faster. You gotta remain motionless and just keep firing to the right. Speaking personally, the thorny warp has its positive side. I tend to fancy myself quite the conqueror when I've gotten through it. Of course, it might just be the profound sense of relief. I don't even care that my ship has been unaccountably emptied of space mines. That just makes it fun to accrue them again. For having commenced as a programming exercise in on-screen object replication, Oystron made a staggering impact on 2600 players of the late 90s. Most notably those who would go on to create games of their own. There had been other homemade programs, but Cavina showed that a rock-solid, elaborate, and electrifying action game could be written for the system without the benefit of an excessively costly development kit. And this was the guy's debut. Fast, flawless, and full of seafood. A great combination. The next game is River Raid 2.